The laboratory hummed with the quiet efficiency of advanced alien technology as Kira bent over her workstation, her violet eyes reflecting the soft glow of holographic displays. As one of the youngest xenobiologists aboard the research vessel, Harmony, she had dedicated her career to understanding the peculiar species known as humans. Their biological makeup fascinated her people. How such a seemingly fragile race had managed to dominate their homeworld and venture into the stars remained a mystery that consumed her thoughts daily. The specimen containers before her held various human biological samples, each one carefully preserved and catalogued. Today's assignment involved analyzing what the humans called military enhancement serums, chemical compounds designed to augment their soldiers' physical capabilities. The clear liquid in the vial looked innocuous enough, reminiscent of the nutrient solutions her own people consumed during long research expeditions. Kira's concentration wavered as exhaustion crept through her slender frame. She had been working for 16 standard hours straight, determined to crack the molecular structure of the enhancement compound before the next rotation began. Her people, the Valani, possessed naturally heightened intellect and endurance compared to most species, but even they had limits. The small vial of nutrient solution she kept at her workstation had been depleted hours ago, and her throat felt parched in her fatigue-induced haze. Kira reached for what she believed was her emergency hydration supplement. The container felt identical to her usual supplies, and the clear liquid within matched her expectations perfectly. Without hesitation, she consumed the entire contents in 3 quick gulps, hoping the familiar energy boost would carry her through the final phase of her analysis. The reaction began within minutes. Heat spread through her chest, like molten metal, radiating outward until her entire body felt as though it were being reconstructed from within. Kira's normally pale blue skin began to take on a deeper hue, and she could feel her heartbeat thundering in her ears with increasing intensity. The sensation was unlike anything she had ever experienced, not painful, exactly, but overwhelming. In its scope and power, she stumbled backward from her workstation, knocking over several delicate instruments in her confusion. The empty vial rolled across the floor, and with dawning horror, Kira realized her mistake. The human military serum lay scattered across her workspace where she had been analyzing it, while the container she had consumed from bore the distinctive markings of the specimen she had been studying. Panic flooded her mind as she tried to recall everything she knew about human enhancement compounds. They were designed for a completely different biological system, one built for endurance, adaptability, and raw physical power. Her people were intellectually advanced, but physically delicate compared to humans. What would such a serum do to her alien physiology? The changes accelerated rapidly. Kira's vision sharpened to an almost painful degree. She could see individual dust particles floating through the laboratory's recycled air, could make out the microscopic scratches on her workstation that had been invisible moments before. Her hearing became equally acute, picking up conversations from crew members several decks away, the subtle vibrations of the ship's engines, even her own amplified breathing. But the physical transformations proved most startling of all. Her muscles began to density and strengthen at an alarming rate. Kira watched in fascination and terror as her normally thin arms developed definition she had never possessed. Her grip strength increased so dramatically that she accidentally crushed a datapad when she tried to record her symptoms. The enhanced reflexes kicked in next when a piece of equipment fell from her workstation. Her hand moved to catch it before her conscious mind even registered the object's movement. The laboratory door chimed, and her research partner, Eva, entered. The older Valani woman took one look at Kira's transformed appearance and froze in shock. "What have you done?" Eva whispered, her silver eyes widening as she took in Kira's altered state. Kira tried to explain, but her voice came out rougher than before. carrying an undertone of power that hadn't existed an hour earlier. I made a mistake. I consumed the human serum by accident. I thought it was my hydration supplement. Ava's expression shifted from shock to scientific fascination. How do you feel? What are the primary effects? Everything is amplified, Kira replied, flexing her hands experimentally. My senses, my strength, my speed. It's as if someone has turned up every biological function to maximum capacity. But Eva, I don't know if my body can handle this long term. This serum was designed for human physiology, not ours. The older scientist began running scans immediately, her instruments recording Kira's vital signs and biological markers. The readings were extraordinary. Kira's cellular activity had increased by nearly 300%. Her muscle density had doubled, and her neural processing speed showed improvements that should have been impossible for their species. The humans engineered this to work with their already robust biological framework, Eva murmured, studying the data streams. But your body is adapting to it in ways I've never seen. Rather than rejecting the foreign compounds, your Valani genetics seem to be amplifying the serum's effects. Kira stood and immediately regretted the movement. Her enhanced strength sent her rocketing toward the ceiling, and only her new reflexes prevented a painful collision. She managed to grab a support beam and lower herself back to the floor with careful precision. I can't control it, she said, frustration creeping into her voice. This level of enhancement, it's beyond anything the humans intended. I feel like I could tear through the ship's hull with my bare hands. Over the following hours, more changes manifested. Kira's endurance seemed virtually limitless. She could run complex calculations for hours without mental fatigue, could perform physical exercises that would have exhausted her previous form within minutes. Her reaction time became so fast that normal conversations felt sluggish, forcing her to consciously slow her responses to avoid overwhelming her colleagues. The most remarkable change, however, was the way the serum interacted with her natural Valani abilities. Where humans gained physical enhancement, Kira's already advanced intellect reached new heights of clarity and processing power. She found herself solving problems that had puzzled their research team for months, making connections between disparate pieces of data that revealed entirely new understanding of human biology. But the enhancements came with a price. The constant sensory input threatened to overwhelm her consciousness. Every sound, every movement, every minute detail of her environment demanded attention. Sleep became elusive as her heightened awareness refused to quiet, and simple tasks, like eating, required careful concentration to avoid crushing utensils or damaging equipment. Word of Kira's transformation spread through the research vessel's crew. Some viewed her condition with scientific curiosity, others with barely concealed fear. The captain ordered her confined to the medical bay until they could determine whether she posed a threat to ship safety. But Kira's enhanced strength made conventional restraints useless. Dr. Marcus, the ship's chief medical officer and one of the few humans aboard, examined her with professional detachment. The serum you consumed represents our military's most advanced enhancement formula, he explained. Even among humans, only specially selected candidates can survive the integration process. The fact that your alien physiology not only accepted it but amplified its effects suggests something remarkable about your species' adaptability. Will it wear off? Kira asked, hope evident in her voice. Marcus's expression grew thoughtful. Human enhancement serums are designed for permanent integration. They rewrite genetic markers and restructure cellular function at the most basic level. In your case, given how dramatically your body has responded, I suspect the changes may be irreversible. The implications hit Kira like a physical blow. She would never return to her previous form, never again experience the world through her original senses. The person she had been was gone, replaced by this enhanced hybrid of human military technology and Valani biology. But as days passed, Kira began to see possibilities beyond her initial fear. Her enhanced capabilities allowed her to process human biological data with unprecedented accuracy. Problems that had stymied xenobiologists for decades suddenly became clear as her transformed mind found patterns invisible to normal perception. She could predict human behavioral responses with startling precision, understand their military tactics and social structures in ways that could revolutionize interspecies relations. When her people's high command learned of her transformation, they didn't see a contaminated researcher, they saw an opportunity. Kira had become a living bridge between two species, embodying the best aspects of both human enhancement and Valani intellect. Her accidental consumption of the military serum had created something entirely new, a being capable of understanding both races on a fundamental level. The research vessel's mission parameters changed overnight. Instead of merely studying humans from a distance, they would now work directly with human military advisors, using Kira's unique perspective to forge unprecedented cooperation between their peoples.